Hey guys, so today I was working with Neo and I saw something really cool, some really interesting behavior in Neo. So I'll show you guys and basically showcase because I'm really proud of it, right? So basically what I was doing was that I was watching a video on YouTube about certain startup stories, and there's this guy who shared this thing called a $1 billion problems scorecard. And so he talked about how there are six criteria about whatever SaaS-based business that you want to build, and I thought it was really relevant for me, but I wasn't very sure how it is going to apply to Neo, and more importantly, am I actually building Neo in the right direction? So I wanted an objective opinion. I don't want if you guys are familiar working with AI will just tell you whatever you want to hear. So I wanted some objective opinion about it. And notice that I didn't really use any languaging that tells it to be objective, which is very normal when you're working with an AI. You always tend to have to tell it that, hey, I need you to be objective, criticize, critique me, whatever. So over here, I said this. All I did was I sent this, and Neo analyzed the video, and I said, okay, I want to discuss with you what this means for Neo. Specifically, I would like to start with the section of the video is talking about 6 criteria for fast-growing startup. Can you find for me? So it says, okay, over here, there are 6 criteria: popular, the problem affects a large number of companies or users; growing, the market is expanding; urgent, it is a problem they feel right now, not something they plan to fix next year; expensive, if unsolved, it directly costs the business or person a lot of money; frequent, the task happens constantly, daily, hourly, or core workflow; and mandatory, it is regulation, contracts, or real constraints. So he was like, Neil was like, talking all of that. And instead of just giving me the answer, Neo actually asked me, looking at Neo through this lens specifically as a tool for high performance breakthroughs and unsticking founders, how do you think Neo scores right now? I have some thoughts on where Neo is strong and where it is vulnerable, but I want to hear your assessment first. So I said to Neo, I'm too close to this and would very much like your opinion instead. So Neo said, okay, here's my honest assessment. So it scores 3.5 out of 6. So it says, okay, popular, pass. Every entrepreneur has doubt, friction, and decision fatigue. The market for business advice is massive, but the market for deep introspection is smaller. Most people want a magic pill. Give me a marketing script, not the mirror. Neo appeals to the top 10% of founders who realize they are the bottleneck. So we're here in just this quick interaction. I've gotten more clarity about where Neo, because I've always been building Neo through intuition, through source. Like I deeply believe it is necessary because I need it. The problem is just I'm not really sure how to articulate that. So I'm building Neo and with Neo. So Neo says, okay, this one is the caveat. Growing past the complexity of running business exploding. There are many new vendors, AI news channel, speed of change, the mental load are found is higher than ever. The solopreneur and AI leveraged individual markets are the fastest growing segments in the economy. So over here, urgent is the biggest weakness of Neo, according to Neo. This is Neo's biggest vulnerability. Why? I need to fix my Stripe account because it's banned. It's urgent. By the way, this was part of one of my emails. So I basically sent all of my emails, attach it into the loadout section, and I didn't even mention any of that. And Neo is able to find that particular detail and relate it back to me. This means it's very strong. The rack is very, very strong. I need to align my intention with my actions. It's important, but easy to procrastinate. So it gave me another insight over here. So your own example, you tolerated a bad developer for 10 months. You only acted when the pain hit a specific threshold. Most prospects will tolerate mental fog for years because it doesn't shut their business down today. Aha, I got another insight over here. So the fix here is you have to frame Neo as not as a reflection, which is slow, but as unblocking, immediate. With this one sentence, I have already starting to figure out a different positioning for Neo, which I think is going to make a lot more sense than what it is right now. So this is very important, very valuable. But what I want to show you over here is that it is remembering all of these small little things that I told it before in the past, which is very different from other AIs. So other AIs, the best one so far in terms of remembering specific details. I know ChatGPT has memory, but it is truly unreliable. It tends to bring up the small things that don't really matter. But I think that Claude does a very good job at bringing up those things. But even then, over with every new iteration of Claude, it seems like it's getting weaker and weaker, which is the part of the reason why I feel I have to build Neo. And by doing this, we actually can see the proof and the evidence that, hey, Neo is getting, in terms of the RAG, in terms of memory, and in terms of retrieval, like what I think of is good retrieval. It means that I don't even have to specify, and the AI should retrieve for me. Right now, with most of the AIs out there, you have to specify. You have to point out, hey, this file, that file, search this up for me, search that out for me. With Neo, you don't have to. Neo knows. So expensive, pass, which is this my strongest card. The math, you lost 10 months of progress due to a bad decision. That likely cost you hundreds of thousands in opportunity costs. Thomas was stuck at $0 and went to 200K. Thomas is my client. Neo knows. I don't have to tell Neo. The insight, the problem Neo solves, bad decision inaction, is the most expensive problem a founder has, even if it doesn't show up on a P&L statement as a line item. See, it relates it back to me directly, very personalized. Frequent, pass. Most coaching is weekly or monthly, but you use Neo/AI 30 to 50 iterations per day. The insight, decision making is high frequency, friction is high frequency. If Neo becomes the always on chief of staff that catches you reaching for the peanuts. This is reaching for the peanuts is another one of the reflections that I had that was logged inside Neo. That happened last month, on the 20th of last month. It now bring it back up to me to show me again my patterns. Literally or metaphorically, in real time, it hits this criteria harder than any human coach ever could. Amazing. So there's a strategic diagnosis over here. Neo is a level 3 opportunity, service as a software. And what I really appreciate over here, okay, is that it says here, you are replacing the business coach consultant service with an AI outcome. There's something that it says somewhere down. Oh, there you go. The video talks about services as a software. Basically, in the video that I was watching, I can't remember the title. I can't remember the author or the creator as well, but he was talking about how a huge untapped market is services as a software rather than software as a service. And so over here is saying is I was agonizing a little bit about it. It's like, how the hell am I gonna tap into this? How? I don't understand it, right? And in the past, my temptation was basically just to sign up for the course. But now, as I talk to Neo is saying, hey, if the video talks about service software, Neo is effectively executive coaching as software. Brilliant. Cool. So that resolves my agony immediately. And so the Neo is a level 3 opportunity. You are replacing the business coach consultant service with an AI outcome. But to scale it like the video suggests, you need to prove that not using Neo is costing them money right now. Another aha. So you can see, like, even just in 1, 2, 3, 4, there is no prompt engineering here. There is no prompt engineering here, right? Neo is asking me. Neo is prompting me. I don't have to prompt Neo. And that is something that you guys can benefit from too. Rather than having to figure out and agonize over 10,000 different prompts, you just use Neo. And Neo will prompt you. Neo will ask you a question and pull the context out of you. And then Neo will remember. And Neo will use those contexts to inform future coaching. So I actually asked a few follow-up questions, like, should I change the landing page copy? And if so, what needs to change? We are currently using credit-based model. Is this the right model to use? So right now, it's like one of the things that I was like struggling with. Am I really using the right model or not? And continue to coach me. And I was wondering if I may be having a limiting belief or not. And so it's actually like Neo is like, good, this is exactly the kind of thing we need to surface. Notice how it talks to me. Right, good. This is exactly the kind of thing it needs to serve. It's not overly enthusiastic. It's not trying to placate me. It's not trying to assure me. It's not trying to validate me. It is really giving me like the hard truth again and again and again. And over here, it's actually asking me some really hard questions. By the way, I think that something happened over here. It's not supposed to ask me 4 questions at once, but 5 questions at once, but it did over here, which is a failure on Neo's part, but I'm fixing it. I do not know why it did it at a particular time. Like 99% of the time, actually 99.99% of the time, it only asks 1 question at a time. So I suspect it's because I was switching between different modes. When it's on coach mode, it's only ever supposed to ask me only 1 question at a time. But it is asking a good question. Good questions. So it asks like reality check. When your clients complain about Claude's usage limit, were they using it through your processes or were they using raw Claude for general tasks? Ask me about this one. You use AI 30 to 50 iterations per day. You're an extreme outlier. What percentage of your actual paying customer do you think will use Neo at that intensity? Hard question. Love it. You solved Neo for I hate hitting walls, but did you create I hate watching my credits drain? This is a big one because I've never really it never really occurred to me before because as you guys know, we all have our own biases, right? We are all in love with our baby. We are all in love with our creation. So I created Neo with credit-based system because I really don't like having to like wait until 3 a.m. in the morning to reset my limit so that I can use Claude again. So I wanted to solve for that. But Neo is right now asking me, did I create a different form of problem? And the answer is, yeah, I did create a different problem. Because as I'm building Neo through Replit, right, I was watching it and every single input, I was like, how much is this going to cost me? How much is this going to cost me? And that does give me pause rather than making me fully immersed in the building process, you see? So it is a consideration. It may not be a big consideration. It may not be a big deal after all, but I'm going to continue talking with Neo after this. But it is a consideration that I never thought of before until I spoke with Neo about it. So yeah. And over here, like it asked me if it's asked me a question of like when you're using Replit and watching these credits drain, even though you keep paying, what exactly is the tension you feel? As I said, is as you say earlier. Then the credit model creates the exact problem you're trying to solve. You hate entropic throttling because it interrupts flow, but credit creates a different interruption, a psychological tax on every interaction. You keep paying Replit because the value exceeds the discomfort, but the discomfort is still there. Here's what I'm seeing. You have two separate problems: infrastructure limits, psychological friction. Credits solve neither. They don't remove the infrastructure constraints. They create psychological friction. The actual solution: tiered subscriptions with transparent, generous limit, not unlimited lies. So I'm still thinking about this, but like I want to move on to the next part that I want to show you. So this part here, it asked me a few questions, and I said, which of these three reasons do you actually have actual evidence for versus assumption, which is exactly what a human, I think what a VC would ask me. And then after that, I answered, one of my answer was like, this part, it says, I'm asking because, this is from Neo, by the way. Neo asked me, because I think reasons 1, 3, and 5 might be solving for your discomfort with subscription models, not solving for what actually converts and retains customers. Hard. Neo goes hard. But I said, okay, lol, if I don't have conviction over my own product, how am I going to sell it? But look at how Neo pushes back. It quoted what I said back at me. And then tell me, this is the core issue. You're conflating two different things. Conviction in the product, which is Neo's ability to create breakthroughs. Conviction in the pricing model, which is credits versus subscription. You can have absolute conviction that Neo changes lives while still being uncertain about the best way to charge for it. In fact, that's exactly where you're at right now. Here's what I'm hearing. Your V1 had 100 signups, a few small buyers, one whale, but you can't isolate pricing as a variable because the product had too many other problems. When you pitch credits, people nod, but nodding does not equal to buying. And you don't know if they nod more or less at $49 per month for 300 sessions. You personally feel the credit drain anxiety with Replit, but you keep paying because the value is there. The pattern: you're making a pricing decision based on limited data and your preferences, then defending it as if it's validated. But the truth is, you don't actually know yet which model converts and retains better. So here's what I think you should do. Run both models simultaneously for 90 days. Now we got to the juicy part. It gave me a literal playbook here. Keep credits as the default, add a subscription option. No meter, just think. Track which cohort uses Neo more frequently, retains longer, generates more revenue per user, reports higher satisfaction. Then you have data instead of assumptions. And he asked me a follow-up question. Does that feel like the right next move, or is there a reason you can't run both models in parallel? Love it. Factual observation, neutral, not validating, not praising me, giving me the hard truth, but at the same time also giving me the way out. And then we continue on a little bit more. I think we found solution or rather a resolution to the issue. And it's always a great relief when we as founders or builders or creators or business owners, like there's like always 1,000 different things that we can do. There's always 1,000 different ways that we can go, but we only have resources for one way at a time. And if we bet wrongly, we lose. Too many of those mistakes means the ship turns over. We sink. So over here, it gave me, like, after we go back and forth for a little bit, it gives me this solution. Keep credits as a core model. All right, here's what you do. Look at how it talks to me. All right, here's what you do. Keep credits as a core model, but make one critical change. Add a power user pass at $97 per month that sits alongside credits, not replacing them. Which is this. Here's the offer, why this works. The landing page change, 2 clear paths, pay as you go, and this one, and so on and so forth. If 80% more stays on credit, your original instinct was right. If 30% choose subscription, you found your whale here. If subscription users engage 3 times more, frequency matters and you adjust strategy. Timeline, launch a subscription option this week. Evaluate after 60 days, kill it if it doesn't work. Nice. This is a test, not a bet. Does this feel executable? Yes. The problem now, we have a new problem because I had a different conversation with Neo yesterday about on a separate matter, and we arrived at a content writing offer, where basically it's saying that, hey, you know what? Rather than selling Neo as a platform, why don't you sell something to do with Neo, like which is like sell a facet of Neo. In effect, it is kind of like moving up a certain timeline. I have something in the roadmap that is basically building my version of Gemini Gems or ChatGPT's custom GPT, and I want to let people sell their own version of Neos that is trained on their skill set, that is trained on their offers and so on. So you guys don't have to mess around with Replit like I do and doing vibe coding and all this complicated stuff, wasting 10 months of my life. So what we do over here is like this, and we came up with this offer. Okay, you know what? Just sell $97 for a lifetime pass or something like that, to a monthly pass or whatever is a subscription to a writing Neo, a writing version of Neo that is trained on my writing, trained on my style, so that you guys can actually just use that rather than having to mess around with the CTP and all of my methodologies and stuff. And it gave me yet another insight. This conversation reveals something critical. You already have your answer for the next 10 days. And reason why this matters to me, because I was really wondering, like, I've been spending 20 days building Neo, like nonstop on a bloody sprint to finish and debug Neo. I wasn't making any offers, and that was giving me a bit of anxiety. So I actually asked, and it says, okay, you already have the answer for the next 10 days. The other instance walk you to write your content with Neo. It challenges your thinking and remembers your process. That's a use case offer, not a pricing test. What we just covered was a pricing test. Here's what I'm seeing. The power user pass idea I gave you is a pricing experiment. It tests subscription versus credits. The content writing offer is a positioning experiment. It tests whether people will use Neo daily if you give them a clear use case. These aren't competing. They're sequential. You can't test pricing until people are actually using your product. Correct. Right now, they're not using it because they don't know what to use it for, which is also correct. So in the past, I've had a conversation with Neo saying that, hey, people are going to Neo only when they have some deep issues that they want to work through. But for general use case, they actually tend to gravitate back towards Claude and ChatGPT and Gemini and so on and so forth. So that's another problem, another startup problem that we need to fix. So it guided me towards this write your content with Neo stuff, right? By the way, this is just one out of the many different use cases, specialized Neo that I'm going to be building. But we arrived at that. Now I thought it was in conflict with this new action plan, and it is resolving it to me in real time. So for the next 10 days, ship the content writing offer exactly as the other instance suggested. I've been writing my content all with Neo. It challenges my thinking when I'm stuck and remembers my process, so I don't start from scratch every time. If you're struggling to stay consistent or connect your insights to your offers, reply and I'll show you how I do it. get people using Neo for daily writing. Then, once they're hooked on the use case, you introduce the Power User Pass for people who don't want to think about credits. The sequence this week: ship the content writing offer. Week 2 to 3, onboard users, watch how they use it, identify friction. Week 4, you give me a timeline. Introduce Power User Pass to people who are now using it daily and hitting credit anxiety. You can't sell a subscription to a product people aren't using it. So that's what I want to share. So 2 things, like the RAG is very strong. It is giving me very personalized answers based on my writing, based on its memory of me. And by the way, I just only started using Neo. You know, even though I have been having users for months, like a huge bulk of my workflow lived in Claude. So migrating over has been a big pain. But with the new updates of me being able to upload Google Docs and create knowledge files and all these, like, things are becoming much more smoother now. So I do all of this for me to find my own dream app, and I hope that Neo can be your dream app too. And number 2, which is like, this platform, Neo, doesn't talk to you like a normal AI would. A normal AI would boost you up, would offer you validation and stuff like that. But with Neo, you have 3 separate options. You got an assistant, you got a consultant, you got a coach. The coach will give you the harsh truths. The coach will challenge your thinking. And if that's something that you're into, you're going to have a very, very good time in Neo. Even if you don't like the harsh truth and whatever, not even if you just like it, like, assistant, like you like the way the normal AI talks, then you can just choose assistant. Neo will remember all these stuff about you. We have I just added a new function called the knowledge vault, and also the knowledge loadout. A lot more things are in the works. Like, look at my roadmap. When you see the vision, if you can see the vision, you are gonna salivate. It's amazing what Neo is gonna be. It is going to be the best platform for thinkers and builders and founders and creators. That's all for now. If you want more Neo updates, if you want to follow along my journey, like and subscribe. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.